Hi everyone, so today I just wanted to share with you all my labor and delivery story since I already shared with you all how my pregnancy went with hyperemesis gravidarum, which was terrible, and my labor and delivery story is also terrible, but I am so happy that I have a healthy baby from that, a happy and healthy and perfect, precious, best baby ever. I'm so blessed to have such a good baby because even though I suffered so much and went through so much with everything going on with my pregnancy up to like labor and delivery and recovery from the C-section, I have the best baby. I'm sure all mommies think that, and it's it's just amazing how much we love our babies. And he really is the best baby, like, oh my gosh. But anyway, let me go ahead and get started with this video because he's sleeping right now, and when he wakes up he's going to want to eat, so mommy has to go over there and spend time with baby. um, so yeah, uh, my induction date was for July the 22nd, which was a Sunday. However, my baby was born on July the 23rd at 4:13 a.m. via C-section. So um, me and Matt that morning, we went ahead and we headed out to go to the hospital, but we decided to get some breakfast on the way there. So we stopped by Biscuitville to grab some breakfast since we knew we had a long day ahead of us. And we ended up getting to the hospital around 8:05 a.m., which was a little late, but the nurses were okay with it. They were very sweet, and they just went ahead and they got us to our room, and they had me put the gown on. Then another nurse came, and she gave me the IV, which, by the way, she had to stick me twice because the first time she didn't get it right in the vein, I guess. And yeah, so that started off great already. um, so anyway, yeah, they gave me the IV, and then the doctor comes in and he checks me, and he's like, okay, so you're around 3 centimeters dilated already. He's like, I'm gonna go ahead and tell him to start giving you the pitocin. So they went ahead and did that, and they hooked it up to the IV, and I was on that for, I'm gonna say, a few hours, and then they went ahead and they gave me, or I should say that, they inserted the catheter, so I didn't have to continue getting up, going to pee in the bathroom, so they just gave me the catheter after that. And they told me that whenever I wanted to get the epidural, because I was convinced that I was going to need the epidural. Um, so they were like, yeah, whenever you need it, just go ahead and let us know, and we'll call the anesthesiologist in here. So I was like, okay, I mean, I'm not really having any pains right now, so I was fine. But I'm gonna say around, the doctor came in again around noon because he had come in like at 9. No, it was at 10 a.m. when he came in first to check me, and he said I was 3 centimeters. And then they gave me the pitocin, and then he came back around like 1:30, I believe it was, something like that, because my mom and my sister were already there, and they came in to see me like around 1:30. So I think it was around that time. So yeah, he came there, and he was checking me, and he said that I was still only around 3 to 4 centimeters dilated. So it was moving fairly slowly. And he was like, okay. He was like, I'm gonna tell him to up the dosage on the pitocin. So the nurse comes in and she does that, and he leaves. He's like, I'll be back in a few hours to check again. So he went ahead and he left, and then he came back in. I'm gonna say around, what, 4 in the afternoon or something like that. And then he reminds me again. He's like, okay, he's like, just remember that whenever you want the epidural, just let the nurses know, and they can tell the anesthesiologist to come in here. So I was like, okay. And he checked me, and he was like, okay, you're about 4 to 5 centimeters dilated right now. And I was like, all right. So he went ahead and he left, and told me he'd come back later to check on me. So at this point, I believe it was around like, what, maybe like 8 o'clock at night, and my pains had already started. Like, the contractions were getting stronger, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna need that epidural now because it was starting to hurt. So they called the anesthesiologist in there, and mind you that as soon as I saw this guy, when he walked in the door, he looked so young, like about my age, and I'm 28. So I don't know. I just felt so. I was. It was just iffy when I saw him. like I didn't trust him. But anyway, he got everyone to get out except for me, of course, and one of the nurses. And he was explaining to me what he was going to do, like the procedure, how everything was going to go down. I was like, okay. And then I just didn't like the questions that he was asking me as he was, doing this epidural procedure. He was like, okay, he was like, I'm going to go ahead and insert this here, blah, 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 talking about the procedure. He's like, let me know if you feel anything in your legs or a ringing in your ears. And I was like, okay. He's like, because if you do, that means it's not in there right. Like, right? Like, who says that when you're working on somebody's spine? Like, anyway, that just blew my mind. I was so worried already. I was just concerned for myself. And so yeah, after that, he started working on my back, and I could feel everything, and it hurt so bad. That epidural hurt so bad. Like, and I asked my friends, like, right after I had it done, I was like, did it hurt you all? And my friends that have had kids, and one of my best friends who recently had one last year, she was like, no, girl, like, mine didn't hurt like that. Like, I barely felt it. So yeah, I was like concerned already. But yeah, so anyway, back to that. When he had me lie back down on the bed, after some time, after he did the whole epidural procedure, he was like, okay, he's like, let me know if you feel anything. So I told him, I felt something cold running down my back, and he was like, okay, that's good, that's great, it means it's working, it means that the medicine's going to start working soon. So I was like, okay, so I should be feeling numbness and tingliness in my legs then. And so like 30 minutes went by, and I still wasn't like numb. Like, I could feel it like starting to get numb, like my legs, but they weren't like fully numb. And then it was about like an hour later when I was like, okay, I could feel some numbness, but I could still feel my legs at the same time. Like, I could still feel them. Like, I could still move my toes and move my legs. I could move one more than the other. I believe it was like my right leg that I could move more than my left one, because my left one I couldn't feel it that much, but I could still move it. And anyway, so I was concerned already, because I was like, okay, it's already been an hour. Like, this medication should have already kicked in, and it hasn't, because I can still feel this. And I told the nurses about it, and they were like, well, have you been pushing, the clicker to get more medicine out? And I was like, yes, I have, and it's not doing anything, because I was already starting to feel the contractions more, and they were starting to hurt. So about another hour goes by, and like that, the epidural had just worn off, like pretty much worn off. It was only effective for like an hour, hour and a half max, and my legs, like, I could still feel them, and I could still feel like my lower body a little bit. So it's not like it helped me. So I was not prepared for that already. I was not prepared for my epidural to not work, And anyway, so the anesthesiologist comes back in, because I was complaining to the nurses about it, and he was like, okay, let me give you something different, because he also asked me if I had been hitting the clicker to get more medication. Well, duh, like, who's going to sit there and just be in pain when they know that they can hit the clicker to get more medicine? But even he told me, no matter how many times you hit it, only a certain amount comes out. So anyway, it's not like that really helped. So he comes in and he gives me some more medication. I don't even know what he gave me. I didn't even ask. I didn't even bother to want to ask, just because I just wanted the pain to go away, because it was starting to hurt really, really bad. And whatever he gave me, I don't know what it was. It took about like 30 minutes to work, and it numbed me. Like, it completely numbed me from my waist down. I was so happy. I was like in this euphoric state. Like, oh my gosh, like, you guys don't even know. I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, this is great. Like, I don't feel anything. And I actually I think I passed out for maybe like, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, because I was just feeling that good. Excuse me, it's still early in the morning. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, I was like in this euphoric state, because I was like, I can't feel anything. This is great. I'm gonna do great when it comes to pushing, because it's not gonna hurt. So yeah, like an hour later, it starts wearing off, and here I am, like, clicking the thing again. So I was like, okay, I need some more medication, because this is wearing off. And then it was like about another hour went by, and I was in so much pain, because everything stopped working. Like, the medication just did not work on me anymore. It just wore off. And so it was, at this point, I think it was around like 11 p.m. at night already. And so the doctor comes in and he checks me again, and he's like, okay, so you're about 7 centimeters dilated. And he's like, "Okay, we're gonna wait a little bit longer." And he asked me why I was crying. I'm like, "The pain is unbearable, pretty much." And it was just no time for jokes. He cracked a joke. I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, I'm in no mood to laugh right now. But anyway, so yeah, that happened, and then he left, and then the nurse comes back in, and I tell her like I need more medication because this, it has worn off. It didn't even really effectively work on me the first time to begin with. So anyway, she was like, okay, I'll try to see if the anesthesiologist is around to come by, as soon as he can. So I guess she let him know, but he took like about an hour to get there. At this point, it was what, like almost like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was still in so much pain. Like I was in pain for hours until the doctor came back at like, what time was it? It was around, I'm gonna say like almost 3 a.m. pretty much. And then the anesthesiologist came in like with him at the same time, and he was like, "All right, we can do one of two things. We can redo the epidural or just leave you as is." And I looked at Matt and my mom and my sister, and I was like, I am not doing that again. I was like, he already hurt my back that bad. I feel like he's going to mess it up even more if we redo the epidural. So anyway, I was like, okay, no, I don't want to do it. And then the doctor was like, all right. He was like, well, he's like, we have one of two options then. He was like, either we can wait, he's like, another 2 hours to see if you fully dilate, because I was still only dilated 7 centimeters. He's like, or he's like, we can go ahead and proceed with a C-section. So I looked at Matt and I was like, because I was just in so much pain. And Matt looks at me and he holds my hand and he's like, babe, just go ahead and do the C-section. He's like, there's no point in you being in this much pain right now when they can just go ahead and do the C-section. And because he knew that I was not, like, there was no way that I was going to do this epidural again. So yeah, anyway, the doctor was like, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and start prepping you for the C-section. This was around like 3 through, it was like right after 3 o'clock in the morning. So they rolled me out of the like my room into the operation room where the anesthesiologist was, and a few other like I guess like nurses and assistants to the doctor, all these people in there. So anyway, they're prepping me, and he's like pinching my skin. I couldn't see what he was doing because that curtain was in front of me. When you have a C-section, they put this curtain in front of you, and I was already kind of like zoning out because the medication they gave me, it was so strong, and I was just wondering like why they couldn't give me that before to begin with. But anyway, so yeah, I was already like kind of like dozing off, like just dozing off, and the doctor was like, can you feel this? Because he was like pinching my skin really like hard with some tongs or something. I don't even know what he was using. And I was like, I mean, barely, because I could barely feel it. And he was like, okay. He was like, because if you could really feel it, he was like, you would be crying right now because the pain would be so bad. And I was like, okay. So they went ahead and got started. And then, like, Matt came in the room. And then when he came in the room with me, I believe he was holding my hand. I don't even know. And he said that I was asking the doctor, like, these crazy questions because I was just out of it. Like, I don't even remember half of this stuff. But he was like, yeah, you were asking him if, what did he say? I asked him first if, he said I told them, like, please don't leave anything inside of me. I've watched these videos and, these shows where doctors leave things inside of their patients when they're operating on them. I was like, oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. And apparently when he was, like, cutting the baby out, I was like, oh my gosh, does he have hair? Is he ugly? But I can't believe I was asking him. That was funny. But anyway, Alexander Mateo was born at 4:13 a.m. on July the 23rd, which was a Monday. He was 20.5 inches long, and he was born with a little cone-shaped head because the doctor said that he was already trying to push his way out, so he was stuck in my pelvic bone. In which, by the way, I forgot to tell you guys that he told me that even if we did wait till I dilated fully, there was only like a 5% chance that I could have this baby, which kind of upset me, honestly, because I feel like he already knew the chances that I had of like vaginally delivering my baby, just because of what he told me, at the beginning when I first had that first appointment with him when I was pregnant, and he told me that I had the platyploid pelvis, and that if the baby was too big, then he wasn't going to be able to fit. So anyway, besides the point, I'm just glad, I'm so thankful that my baby is healthy and that, I haven't had any issues with him, thankfully, knock on wood. And, I'm always praying for my baby that he's, you know, fine and all, because he's such a good baby. Even when he was born, he was just born with like his eyes wide open because Matt took a video, and then he was crying right away. And when he was just laying there, Matt was, you know, he was taking another video of him, and he was just looking around. He was so alert. He was looking around. He was moving around so much, and he was probably like, you know, what is this new place? But yeah, my sweet baby. I love him so much. And I have him in a little vlog that I did, like the miniest 1 minute vlog. I think it's like a video or two back, but yeah, I didn't actually like have a chance to, like, I guess, properly introduce him on here. But yeah, you guys can go back and look at my baby. I'm sure he'll be in like my videos in the future, because I do want to make more videos about like my C-section recovery, which was pretty horrible too. And it's just in general about like what life is like now that I'm a mom. Like, it's been so crazy, like so hectic, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I love being a mom. This is the best title I've ever been given, and my baby is the best part of every day. He is the best part of my day. Just being with him. Even right now that he's sleeping, I miss him when he's asleep. Like, I love him so much. And even though I look like crap, you know, walking around all day, as you can see by my mom hair, because literally, like, it's either you do makeup or hair. I never have time to do both. Unless his daddy's home and watching him, I just don't have time to do both, because while he sleeps, I have to get other things done, because when he's awake, I have to spend time with him, and I have to feed him and burp him. And I just love spending time with him when he's awake, that like I kind of get sidetracked just being with the baby and don't do anything else. So like while he sleeps, I have to try to do some things around the house, like clean and cook, and you know, it's just, I get so sidetracked when I'm with him, because I love my baby so much. I love spending time with him. But anyway, I'm ranting on. This video's already long. I'm going to go ahead and get off. But yeah, so this was my labor and delivery experience story. I hope you all enjoyed it. And I hope I didn't frighten you new mommies or mommies to be out there. But, you know, I pray that all goes well for all you expecting mommies right now with your deliveries, that it just goes smoothly, because you just never know what to expect in situations like those. Like, you really don't. Even in motherhood, you just don't know what to expect. So pretty much expect the unexpected, you know. But like I said, I'm sending out my positive vibes and so much love to you all. And until the next video, bye.